What's up, nation? This is your boys, the RudeBoyz. We're here on a very weird, wacky episode 68 of the RudeBoyz Power Hour. Plus, I'm Sharm.
I'm Tom.
Oh, Jesus. As you can hear, we are recording in remote locations. I'm at my recording studio, and Tom's at Castlevania. And we are both in pretty much quarantine during this pandemic funness going on in the world. And
you more so than me, because I'm an essential employee.
Right, yeah, Tom's an essential employee. I was an essential employee, but, you know, things happen. What are you going to do? Life finds a way. So this situation that we're in completely throws out really what we got scheduled for today, and possibly next episode too. But we're going to figure it out. Don't you worry. Your boys got you. Just come in, wash your hands, get cradled 6 feet away, and we'll take care of you, all right? The RudeBoyz will take care of you during this crisis.
Nope. Cradle the ball 6 feet away.
Stop it. God damn it. Tommy, who's let's try to get some normality in this episode. Who's in your mouth, Tom?
I got some Canada Dry sparkling seltzer, pomegranate, and cherry.
Okay, very good.
It's going to be a fresh open.
Oh.
Ooh.
That was either the can or a shotgun going off. Oh, God.
Who's in your mouth?
I got some coffee with some Kraken. I think it's like black rum, the coffee flavored rum.
The one that changes the coffee into like gray.
Yes, it is great. It's poison. It's
Gray, nasty.
It's delicious. It's squid ink. And just some creamer. And some Kahlua too. Don't get me wrong. Again, we already just mentioned I'm a non-essential employee now. So what's up, quarantine?
Drink it up.
Drink it up, babe. Let's try to clink it up best we can. Okay, Tom.
All right.
I'm gonna take this magnifying glass I found. I'm just gonna hit my mug. You ready?
I'm just hitting my phone against the can.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
All right.
I guess that
We'll
works.
see how that comes out.
Yeah.
Oh boy, what a fucking shit show.
All right, so let's attempt some Blitzkrieg news. What do you say, Tommy?
Let's get up. Let's do it.
All right, Tommy,
All right.
hit us up with that Blitzkrieg, that sweet Blitzkrieg that the nation needs.
Yes. We are starting off in game.
Yes.
As per usual.
Yes.
And surprise, there's a Nintendo Direct.
Yes. So late last week there was a.
You want to talk about this? Like a little.
Yes,
little
Tom.
wee girl?
Yeah, Tom. Thank you. So there was a little mini Nintendo Direct. That happened during, I believe it was Thursday it came out, and it was a big surprise to everybody. But they started off with Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, which was a JRPG, came out for the Wii. Really great game, one of my favorite Wii games. It's coming out May 29th. Also coming out May 29th, you also got the Bioshock 1, 2, and Infinite collection coming out, XCOM 2 collection, Borderlands collection, all coming out the same day. Getting some 2K love, the Nintendo Switches. Also got Star Wars. Do you play any of those games, Tommy?
I played Bioshock.
Okay. Your thoughts? Okay. People love...
I don't know. First-person shooters are very hit or miss with me.
Sure, I understand. Well, it's cool that these franchises are getting a little bit of love on the Nintendo consoles for the first time. So that's pretty cool. And I mean, I don't know the buck that you'll get your bang for, but, I mean, those are 3 solid games, regardless of, criticism or anything like that. As far as the Bioshock games, Borderlands isn't my jam. That's like more of a looter shooter sort of thing. Your brother probably has played Borderlands, I'd imagine, right?
I think he has the current one on PS4.
I see. I figured that just seems like a game like his style. XCOM might be something you like, Tommy. That's like a strategy RPG sort of thing.
No, I tried. I don't like it.
You did? Okay, that's fine. You tried it. That's all that matters. What else is coming out? A little bit of news that we're going to be getting a character from the game ARMS. will be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and it should be around June. We don't know which character it is. We also don't know if June is really going to be like a finite date because there was some interviews with the director Masahiro Sakurai saying that this coronavirus could potentially, if someone gets infected on the job, that's it. Everything's getting shut down. For health protocol. So June might not be a thing, but they just wanted to kind of, I guess, update you. And it seems like a weird pull because ARMS was a pseudo launch title. I don't know if it was launched, but it came out near the debut of the Switch. It's a fighting game. Mm-hmm. It's a two-person fighting game using the Joy-Cons. You're going to be like, you got like extendable arms. A lot of character, a lot of creativity. Yeah. I know when the game originally launched, it was the Street Fighter V of the Nintendo Switch. Like, it gave you bare bones stuff, and then after a while, it gave you more content. And the final product, which is actually out, if you have Nintendo Switch Online, you can pretty much download the game for free for a limited amount of time. You could try it out. It's got a lot of content and a lot more characters, a lot of creativity behind it too. Didn't really hit as much as, like, let's say Splatoon did in the Wii U era, but Nintendo's trying to make ARMS a thing, so I like it. Obviously, the some of the characters are in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate already. I believe like the male fighter is a assist trophy, and the female fighter is a Mii costume. So there is Arms Loves in the game. Arms Loves in the game. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, I remember trying to play it at that Nintendo Switch event that you and I went to.
Right. It was cute.
At that point, you couldn't get near the game.
Right. Yeah, because it was like their original IP for the system right now. Because obviously you also had Zelda and shit over there. But whatever. Moving on. Right. I'm sorry. I'm dragging it down. The
yeah, you're not keeping books straight.
I know, I'm sorry. You also got a Star Wars Racer and Burnout Paradise remasters. There it is. So that was an N64 game, came out around the same time as Phantom Menace, and Burnout Paradise, which was a open world Burnout game, came out, I believe, like the 360 PS3 era. That is getting remastered for the Switch, which side note is really cool because EA has not put any of their stuff really on the Nintendo Switch. So hopefully this opens up, maybe you get some Dead Space, maybe you get some Mirror's Edge. This is complete speculation, but like just make it fucking happen, guy. Come on. FIFA's a thing. We get it. Give us something else, man. Come on, EA. Tom, we know your thoughts on EA, so you don't need to get into it.
Well, we know my thoughts.
Exactly.
They're idiots.
Right. Also, if this is more your style, there's a Bravely Default 2 demo out. That's a sequel to I believe it was a DS game that is done by the same team that did that Octopath Traveler game. And there's a free demo out. Check that out. And what did it end on? I don't remember. That's a whole bunch of stuff right there. So Nintendo Direct, yes. And that was a lot. Hit it.
All right, cool. So, moving along, Epic publishing new games.
So, Epic's getting into the game publishing a little more after, obviously, their huge success with Fortnite. They're developing some games from the studios that gave you The Last Guardian, which was the team ICO from PlayStation 4. I believe, Play Dead, which is the company that did Limbo and Inside. And they're also publishing a new game from Remedy, who just did the game Control, which everyone, I think, dug last year. Or did it come out this year? No, last year, I'm sorry. It had some DLC coming out this year. Guys who did Alan Wake, and I think the original Max Payne. People dig it. People love it. Both those, I think all three of those development studios kind of on the rise. And I think a big thing that they get is that the publishing rights... excuse me, like basically Epic's flipping the bill 100%. They share the profits 50-50, and the companies get to keep their IPs. So there you go. They have full creative control, basically. That's a pretty good deal, I think.
No, that sounds that's pretty fantastic. And we'll see what they
we'll see what they got. Yeah, exactly.
Moving along, Sunset Riders coming to Switch via Arcade Archives. This game sounds very familiar.
Yeah, Sunset Riders was, I believe it was a Konami game. It was like a Western shooter sort of thing. You're running around, 4-person. Tom, if you were to Google it, you would know what it is. But Sunset Riders was like, it came out for like the Super Nintendo and the Genesis, but it was gimped because it was console.
Totally not what I thought it was.
What did you think it was?
I thought it was this game that came out for PlayStation 1 where you were on a jet ski, and it was like a racing game.
Okay, I mean, Sunset Riders, sure, all right. I can see where you would come up with that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
I'm always thinking.
Yeah.
PS5 will be partially backwards compatible.
Right, so this week that we're recording in was going to be the same week as the Game Developers Conference. So a lot of technical notes came out for both the Xbox One and the PlayStation... not the Xbox One, but the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. And they both had their discussions, they both had their interviews, they both had their talks. And one of the things that was coming into this talk was that the PlayStation 5 was going to be fully backwards compatible with all the systems prior to it. Turns out that might not be the case. During their talk, they had a discussion where saying that like the top 100 PS4 games would be prioritized within the PS5's, I guess, the upscaling and the this and the that. So off the bat, not all the PS4 games are going to be playable on your PS5. Then they went to kind of backpedal and say that, no, they're going to be thousands of these games. They will be playable at some point. They're just saying, like, day one, you're going to get the top 100 PS4 games that can be playable on the PS5. Which, to me, sounds very similar to how the Xbox One handled their backwards compatibility, where they kind of, like, just picked and chose what it was, as opposed to, let's say, what the PS3 did. The PS3 basically had a PS2 within it, and hence the PS1 games could also get played on a PS3. Unfortunately, when they had to cut costs, because that thing was a fucking $800 beast, that was the first thing to go, because, they obviously want to push the new hotness. I think for like a retro gamer or a curator or a collector, backwards compatibility is huge, because then you don't have to necessarily keep all the older collector aside, you don't have to keep all your older systems hooked up. You could just, swap out your PS4 for your PS5 and then still play your catalog of games. Right. It's super, I think it's good for the consumer. Maybe not good for their bottom dollar, but that's what's going on. Whereas, again, still, I think from what we've been told, the Xbox Series X will still retain the backwards compatibility of the Xbox One. So anything that's backwards compatible through the Xbox One, again, through their picking and choosing methods, you can get on your Xbox Series X.
Right.
Yes. Which is cool to me because, again, I'm still playing an original Xbox game on my Xbox One, so go figure.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay, sorry about that, Tommy.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine, I'm used to it.
That's good.
Whether we're in the same room or in separate studios.
Right, exactly.
You fucking clown. Moving along, rumor, Sony trying to get Metal Gear, Castlevania, and Silent Hill IP from Konami.
Right, so this was a rumor that came from 4chan, so it's completely unsubstantiated, but would be pretty cool, especially because Konami's not really doing anything with those IPs. There was a little bit of a follow-up, I know, to an earlier Blitzkrieg news, maybe about a month and a half ago, where we were talking about a Silent Hill movie probably in the works and another game. An update to that was that I guess an English PR, I guess from Konami US or something, PR came on and said, listen, that's a rumor. We're not gonna substantiate that with a confirm or deny sort of thing. So it's like, all right, cool. Thanks for chiming in, guy. But again, it's kind of a stupid, silly rumor. But hey, come on, those are some classic IPs, and Silent Hill, and I feel like, given the right hands, someone could do something good with it,
Yeah, no, what was the last Castlevania game that even remotely came out? It was
the last Castlevania game that wasn't tied to some sort of like pachinko machine or whatever the hell Konami's doing, I believe was it was either Castlevania Lord of Shadows 2, which was like a 360 PS3 game. I know they had a downloadable game around that same time, but that might have been prior to that. But But I think that was their last
Okay.
big attempt at making Castlevania a thing. And obviously,
Okay.
the last Metal Gear game was Metal Gear Solid 5, which was a huge debacle PR wise, because then, Kojima left, did his whole thing. The game's technically not finished, from what I understand. I don't know. I never finished it, so. And Silent Hill, they were trying. They've been trying and trying and trying, and it just didn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't stick as well as Resident Evil did in. I would think specifically the West, but it's more psychological. It's for smart people. But speaking of Resident Evil,
yes, maybe a cloud version of Resident Evil 3 on the Switch.
right? So there was a Resident Evil 3 demo that came out for PS4 and I believe Xbox One. I don't know, but people data mined it and they found some Switch assets in it. I don't specifically know what. I think it was just like button prompts or whatever. But people were saying that maybe, they were going to try to make it on the Switch or something like that, or maybe there's a cloud version coming out on the Switch. They've been really, Nintendo and their third parties have been kind of dabbling in that over in Japan because their internet is tops. They got the best. They got the best everything. So what they're doing is they're trying to do like a cloud version of Resident Evil 3 maybe on Switch, the same way they did like a cloud version of Resident Evil 7 on the Switch, and also I believe it was Assassin's Creed Origins. They did or Odyssey. They did a cloud version for the Switch. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, pretty interesting. I mean, it's the future. Nintendo is definitely not thinking about the future, but it's one of those things. It's like no one asked if we could or we should, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That quote.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they didn't need to do it. Like, I mean, you don't have to put Snake on a fucking TI-85 calculator, but someone did, and there you go.
That game was awesome.
Yeah, there you go. Tom's Game of the Year. Snake.
Oh, yo, that is Tom's Game of Life.
Right. It's a good game. It's a great game.
Game of the Year.
Also, a real hot rumor that came in under the wire. Some confirmed reports, some rumors, some chit-chat, some internet BS, who knows. There's going to be talks that, because this year, 2020, is the 35th anniversary of Super Mario, is that Nintendo's got some games and some good stuff in the works. There's probably going to be some remakes, some remasters, possibly a deluxe edition of Super Mario 3D World, maybe a new Paper Mario game. Who knows? Fingers crossed we get some good Mario news. This was all going to be scheduled for E3, but since that's canceled, maybe we'll find something out in the next coming weeks.
We actually have some comic book news.
I see that.
Yeah. Infinite Destinies brings the Infinity Stones back to the comics this summer. Possibly.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, that's true.
Possibly.
Right.
We're not 100% sure, so we're just going to leave that right there.
I feel like all our news going forward needs to have an asterisk next to it because, like, who knows what's going on?
Yeah, I know.
Especially when we hit movies and TV, but, like...
Oh, yeah.
Right.
This, to me, I think is huge, is Diamond Comic Distribution Center not sending comics out until all this fucking shit is over with.
Right.
That sucks. Because, like, even, like, I looked on Comixology, and there's no new comics for this week.
Oh, so they're holding back on their digitals as well.
Right, because
okay.
I guess it's something like a deal that they have with.
Yeah, you need parity between the two. Yeah. It's the same way, like, they won't release video games early digitally, until the brick and mortar stores get it and they can sell it. So.
Exactly. So.
Wow, that's going to take some adjustment, I imagine, the comic book industry. Plus, like, you got to think about, like, all the local comic book shops, too, that are definitely hurting during all this. I mean, obviously, local businesses and everything. Like, nation, just support your local business,
Oh, yeah.
Order food, get it delivered, pick it up, be safe, wash your hands. If you want to go still support your physical comic book shop, give them a call, see what you can do. Local bookstores. Obviously, movies are out of the fucking question, but you know what I mean? Like your local, consumer places. Do your best to try to support them. This is going to be a crazy time, especially when we get out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I, since you were saying movie theaters, one of the things I saw was like, hey, this would actually be a perfect time to bring back drive-in movies. That'd be fucking fantastic.
You really got a good point there, Tommy.
I've never been to a drive-in movie, so
I saw
I would totally do that.
The last drive-in I saw was to age myself. It was a double feature of Men in Black 1 and I think it was Dante's Peak, whichever Pierce Brosnan one. That was Dante's Peak, yeah.
Oh yeah, the volcano movie.
Yeah, it might have been actually Dante's Peak and McHale's Navy. I don't remember.
Wow.
Yeah. Again,
you're fucking old.
Yeah, yes I am. Thank you, Tommy.
You're an old ball man.
Moving on.
Moving on to movies. Sonic is now the highest grossing video game movie.
And it didn't need the RudeBoyz bump, man. So congrats, Sonic. You did it all on your own.
You did. Mainly life got in the way, and we didn't get a chance to see that.
True. Though I believe we may talk about Sonic in like a minute. But congrats, Sonic. You did it. You beat Detective Pikachu, which was the RudeBoyz movie of the year for 2019. And yeah, good job, Sonic. We'll catch you at some point. Maybe sooner than later.
2019 was a good year. Ryan Reynolds developing a Dragon's Lair movie.
All right, so you know what Dragon's Lair is, Tommy?
Do I know what Dragon's Lair is?
Yes.
Bitch, I'm older than you.
I had to know. I don't know if it was a blind spot or something.
You know how many fucking quarters I wasted on that goddamn piece of shit game?
Nice. So, for the members of the nation that don't know what Dragon's Lair is, Dragon's Lair was this, how do I even explain it? It was almost like a choose-your-own-adventure, action-adventure game that had this beautiful hand-drawn art style by Don Bluth, who went on to do All Dogs Go to Heaven and An American Tale. And it was, if you love QuickTime events, you would love this game because it's all QuickTime events. And the technology behind it, like with laser discs and stuff, it's such an oddity, especially looking back at it in 2020. But it has such a fondness in people's hearts. If you've seen the newer seasons of Stranger Things, Dragon's Lair is featured heavily into it. But Ryan Reynolds is developing a Dragon's Lair movie. He's probably going to be, I think, producing and starring in it. And I believe it's coming out to Netflix. Again, asterisks, because who knows what's going to happen.
Big fucking asterisks.
Mm-hmm.
Movies are hitting digital early.
Right, which we talked about a little bit last time, but now I think movies such as Onward is out on digital early, Birds of Prey. I think actually Sonic is hitting rental on demand or whatever the fuck it is. Mm-hmm.
As of 2020 couldn't get any worse. Bloodshot is hitting digital early.
That's pretty good.
You know, like, the fuck.
That's pretty good, Tommy. That's pretty good.
So yeah, this is gonna, that's gonna be the way of the world for a little bit.
Sure, yeah. So movies are hitting digital early. People are saying, like, we talked about. Did we talk about New Mutants getting delayed again? Was that last episode, or did we even talk about that?
I think we posted that picture up, and we touched it.
I think that was our announcement. Yeah. Yeah. So New Mutants.
I don't want to talk about it that much.
Sorry. Well, like a movie such as New Mutants is in complete limbo right now. So like people are saying, just throw it out on Disney Plus. Like, who gives a fuck?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Which is what they should do with Black Widow.
They probably want to get some of that money back, but like, hey, that's a pretty good segue, Tommy.
Dude, with how many subscribers there are, they would make that. They've already made that money back.
Right, but they want that ticket price. They want that. You want to rent this movie? Okay, pay us $20, and then you can rent this movie.
Well, unfortunately, that's not life right now.
I understand. Yes.
So fucking deal with it,
right,
Disney, and just release it on goddamn Disney Plus like tomorrow.
Right. Well, at least Wonder Woman 84 is still on track, right?
No, it's delayed. It was supposed to come out June, I think. Something
like that, yeah. But that was another movie that people were like, what are they going to do? And then it got delayed straight up, so. So weird times, man. Weird times. obviously,
just the way things are right now.
yeah, and obviously because like people want to obviously keep social distancing. I get it. So movies in production are kind of getting shut down. TV shows in production are getting shut down. Also, you can't really send movies out into theaters right now because people don't want to congregate into a giant theater right now. So
Well, yeah.
they're losing huge on
I don't
that.
even, 9 out of 10 times, I don't even want to congregate in a huge theater when we go to the movies.
Yeah, I know. I've been social distancing for decades. This is not a new thing for me.
Yeah. No, not at all. So moving on to TV.
Yes.
What We Do in Shadows returns April 15th, which I think that could still be on track.
I think so too. It looks like it's pretty much done. Especially if in this day and age, we just got a trailer. I think it was like last week. And it's very close. It's very close. So I'd imagine we're good to go with this. I dug this. I dug the hell out of the show watching it. Bonnie and I, we binge watched it. Yeah, super excited. Yes, thank you, Tommy.
Yes.
But great show, guys. Check it out.
Yeah, if you enjoyed the movie, you'll enjoy the shit out of the show.
Also, like, I would think if you didn't even see the movie, like, you like just vampire lore and maybe, like, you have a soft spot for, like, that kind of comedy, definitely, you check out the movie, watch the show, do both.
Yeah, I watched the movie a bunch of times.
I know you have, yes. Tom's a big vampire mark.
Me? Yeah, no. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. Moving along in TV, Rosario Dawson might be playing Osaka Tano in Mandalorian Season 2.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, which I'm kind of surprised they didn't try to get the girl who does the voice for her.
Yeah, I don't know the disparity behind that. I don't know why they wouldn't have done that. I know they do that a bunch of times because, like, so take spoiler alert, Darth Maul shows up in Solo.
Shit, he does.
Yeah, I know, right? Also, so now I'm thinking about it, Star Wars has a weird history of this. So in Solo, Darth Maul is physically portrayed by Ray Park, the guy who played him in Phantom Menace, but he is dubbed by, I think it's Roy Whittaker or something like that.
The guy. He was in
Sam Whittaker.
Being Human.
Right, he voiced him in Clone Wars, and presumably Rebels. Spoiler alert, he shows up in there too. But there you go. Also, you got to think about it. David Prowse also portrayed Darth Vader. He was voiced by James Earl Jones. Like, they got a weird history of doing stuff like that. So, why they didn't get the voice actress, I don't know. Maybe she, voice acting and
maybe
like
she can't physically act.
That's what I was just about to say. I think voice acting and physical acting are definitely two trades that not necessarily everyone has down. But this seems almost like a fan casting also. Like people were like people for the longest time when they wanted a live action Ahsoka Tano, they went with Rosario Dawson. Why, I don't know. Personally,
Rosario Dawson is awesome.
Okay, I'm neutral.
That's right.
So
well, don't be neutral. Just agree with me.
All right, fine.
There you go.
All right.
See? The more you agree with me, the better your life will be.
I guess so. Maybe I should start. Maybe that's why we're in this. That's why we're in this situation.
No, I didn't tell no one to eat a bat.
I'm gonna have to go back in some of the episodes. You might have said that.
Maybe.
Maybe.
All right, moving along. Castlevania Season 4 is coming.
Yep, Netflix confirmed it. Not a lot of pomp and whatever. They just here's a video and Season 4 is coming. Yep. So there you go.
Yeah, which I'm fine with. Give me more.
Yeah, I'm also excited because I believe the same creative team is gonna do is gonna tackle a Devil May Cry series. So I'm super down for that. And they wanted to try to kind of weave it into some sort of shared universe. Which I guess, sure, whatever, fine. As long as all the parties involved are okay with that, sure, fuck it, do it.
Okay.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, I know they've already came out with a Devil May Cry anime, which was...
Oh, sure, yeah.
So...
But,
we shall see,
and you're going to hear our thoughts about Season 3 a little bit later. We're going to be a big-time RudeBoyz CatchUp.
along to wrestling news.
Wrestling news. Big WrestleMania season, Tommy. Nothing bad can happen now, right?
Reigns is out of WrestleMania because of this whole situation.
Yeah, so, Roman Reigns has had 2 major battles with leukemia in his lifetime. So he is, his immune system is compromised at some points, and he does not feel safe working at WrestleMania. To his complete credit, like, can't fault the guy.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a big time, huge matchup that was going to be scheduled on one of the 2 nights of WrestleMania, and yeah, just another complete curveball, another monkey wrench thrown into it. People are saying Braun Strowman's going to be his replacement. We're gonna have to see. Nation, I know you got our quick RudeBoyz reacts on YouTube about our thoughts on WrestleMania. But this is just gonna be a weird mania. This is, to be honest, it seems like a can't miss WrestleMania because it's gonna be just so weird.
Yeah, well, Rey Mysterio is also out of WrestleMania.
Right, so Rey Mysterio's, yeah, so other members of the WWE staff, I was going to say cast for some reason. So, yes, Rey Mysterio is out on... Mm-hmm.
The way it's filmed, it is like an improv theater.
Pretty much, yeah. So Rey Mysterio is out. He's self-quarantining. Andrade, the U.S. champion, has a rib injury, and he can't get that looked at, so he's out of WrestleMania. The AOP are both out at WrestleMania because one of them has an injury. Buddy Murphy is sick, but not with Corona stuff, so he's out of WrestleMania. Miz is out because Miz was sick, so he's out at WrestleMania. He's one half of the SmackDown Tag Champs. It's just,
You know, Miz probably also doesn't want to put his daughters out either.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think so. So, like, there's a little bit of backstage stuff that, like, so I guess Reigns or the Uso, basically Miz had a match, and Miz was sick, and there was some backstage brouhaha with, you know, the Miz showing up to work sick, and Reigns is friggin', you know, his immune system is a little bit weakened and stuff, and all this craziness going on like that. So he might have gotten forced to sit. So it's just fucking weird, man. There's a lot of things going up in the air, and they're like pre-taping parts of WrestleMania. So who knows what we're gonna say? Who the fuck knows?
At this point, just postpone Mania.
It doesn't seem like they're gonna.
No, it doesn't.
Let me phrase it. It doesn't seem like Vince is gonna.
With Raw and SmackDown, they're starting to do what AEW is doing, where they have wrestlers who aren't wrestling that night as the audience members.
I think that is brilliant. When AEW did that Dynamite, it was awesome. I loved the hell out of it because it gave their characters a chance to shine when they couldn't. Every time they do that with Orange Cassidy, I pop. So, like, seeing that when it's like, you know, MJF and Shawn Spears, like, betting on matches, like, I dig that. That's good. That's in their character.
Yeah, Matt Hardy teleporting around the empty arena.
Jesus, what a friggin', this is, it seems like out of all of this, AEW is getting their chance to shine.
Oh, yeah.
Which is good, because it shows their creativity, and it shows that they're being different, and what WWE is doing, it's almost like it's like a sterile version, I suppose. Like, they're doing, don't get me wrong, all the athletes in both promotions are doing the best they can with the situation they're given, but it seems like AEW is almost like, yeah, no, we're good with this. Whereas, like, the WWE guys are like, all right, let's just, they're going to try it because they're used to being, you know, put that production on them and get all this detail and this fine detail and work to the crowd and this and that, so. And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, and it's such a weird time for, like, everything.
Exactly.
Sports and such, so. That is all we have for Blitzkrieg.
All right, so that's all we have for Blitzkrieg. All right, Tom, this is no time for games right now. Let's catch up. In this weird social quarantine, Social quarantine. Yeah, self-distancing thing. What have you been up to, Tommy?
I have been up to the Fantastic Four DLC has dropped on
great.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. Like, you know, it starts off pretty much after the main story.
Okay, so there is some story content involved, correct?
Yes.
Nice,
yeah.
nice,
so
nice,
it's
nice.
It's an epilogue.
Okay, cool.
And like, Doom goes to Wakanda and he steals the Infinity Stone from Wakanda.
Okay.
Which I think was the Soul Stone.
Okay.
So you have to fight Doom, and then you have to you fight Doom, and then you get thrown to the negative zone, and you meet up with the Fantastic Four, and boom, you get to play as all 4 members right off the bat.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
So I've been running around playing as them. They're really good. Like, they have like this great synergy where they have all this, the amount of like health that they can recover is bananas.
Really? Okay. Cool.
Right now, I'm in Latveria, where Doom just resurrected a Celestial. And that Celestial is shooting lasers and shit at me right now. Okay. So yeah, that's aggravating because there's also lightning bolts. So like, you have to try to run down this this lane while this Celestial's like shooting beams at you that cause the ground to explode and this and that. And,
okay.
Oh, it's something.
Right.
It's pretty bananas. Like I said, I'm enjoying playing as all 4 members. They also dropped a whole shit ton of costumes, which I have to get more like the in-game currency to purchase.
Right. So, I would say, Tom, check out. There's probably got to be some like grinding tips or something like that. Like, check that out. There might be like hey, do this mission like 6 or 7 times, and you'll get like a boatload of money or something like that. I'm sure people have gamed the system enough just to make it easier for guys like you who are keep consuming this game.
Well, I've been doing the Infinity Rift.
Okay,
and I've been kicking ass in those.
Nice.
So, and that's all I've really been up to.
Well, let me actually pause. Let me. I'm going to ask you a couple questions on this. So you're saying this is like new story and stuff like that. So I'm assuming new cutscenes, new voice acting, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Does it include in said cutscenes guys from the previous DLC or no? Like the Marvel Knights or anything?
Yes, that is funny because there's this whole thing where it's all like you're running around with the Fantastic Four with all the other DLC characters.
Oh, okay, cool.
That they dropped.
Cool.
So, and so yeah, it's all those voice actors, and then the voice actors on top of for Doom and the Fantastic Four.
Gotcha.
The one thing I kind of feel that they might have missed the mark is I'm kind of surprised they didn't also want to try to get Namor with the Fantastic Four.
Right.
With the Fantastic Four bit.
Right.
So.
Completely forgot all about Namor. But that's cool. I said I completely forgot about Namor. I forgot he was a thing.
I know.
But, I mean, it's glad that in this day and age, especially, like, I think when this game was announced, the Disney buyout of Fox was still kind of, like, up in the air. But it is cool to see now, basically, like, the best of best out of Marvel in one game. With, the addition of the Fantastic Four and more X-Men in the previous DLC and the Marvel Knights guys and obviously everyone you had in the game, in the base game.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that it seems to be like a more full package for you.
Yeah, I like full packages.
God damn it. But that's pretty cool. Now, when you were saying about the synergy stuff, did they include more synergies for the DLC guys?
Well, yeah, all the X-Men guys, like they'll have specific synergies when you hook them up with all the other X-Men guys.
Right. No, I mean, did they create new ones? Like, obviously, the Fantastic Four. That's a brand new batch of people they just put in. So okay, so that's cool. That's cool. I could get behind that. I'm thinking maybe by the time I finish Breath of the Wild, we'll probably go into Batman. So, but this might be up there though to check it out again.
I will totally replay.
Nice. All right. I might need you for that.
Yeah, I think I'm actually on my second run through.
Nice.
Well, after all this is done, I mean, we can actually do couch co-op.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
So,
I mean, we could do online too, but yeah, it's couch co-op is where it's at, nation. As long as we're 6 feet apart.
Oh yeah, always.
Exactly.
Always.
Yep.
I always keep you apart.
All right.
I used to keep you at a distance.
Yeah, that's no, you're right. Again, you've been social distancing for years, so that's fine. At least with me, so.
And everybody.
Right.
I like it. I like it that way.
That's fine. So, I briefly mentioned that I was doing, I'm on my second playthrough of Breath of the Wild. I wanted to replay it for the 3rd anniversary of the Switch, and Breath of the Wild for that matter. I got 2 Divine Beasts down, I just pulled the Master Sword. I feel like I want to attempt some of the DLC, like the Master Quest mode bullshit, but I don't think I'm equipped to that. Like, I just did bare minimum stuff right now. Not necessarily bare minimum, but, like, I'm not, like, end game yet, clearly. Nor do I think I'm ready to attack the end game, but I'm going to give it a shot and see what happens, because I feel like that's kind of like the trajectory I would be on. So we're gonna try that out. Game-wise, though, it's been pretty slim, especially with this quarantining stuff. Bonnie's been staying with me, so we've been kind of just trying to play some co-op stuff. We're playing a whole lot of Overcooked, which you've played that, Tom?
No, it doesn't look like it. It's something I would enjoy.
That is, yeah, probably. It's very hectic. It's super dependent on co-op. Basically, it's like all the players are chefs, and they're making, hamburgers or burritos or stuff like that, but they all have to, like this guy has the chopping board, and that guy has the ingredients, and, the ingredients have to go to one side, chop them up, get cooked on the other side. Like, it's a lot of communication. It's very hectic. I think it's definitely a good party-style chaos game, and we've been having a good time. I think we're almost done. Like, there can't be so many worlds to this game. But I know that
there's actually a story to that?
What was that?
There's actually, an actual, storyline to that?
Yeah, they kind of make this weird, bare-bones story. Like, obviously, the levels themselves are the stars, and then they just kind of string along the levels in, a story.
Right.
But, It's a lot of fun. Overcooked is one of those games that I know when we're over for wrestling or D&D or something like that, Leroy is always trying to push us to play. And I think with the right group, it'd be chaos. But in a good way,
Yeah, I definitely, it's not for me.
It's not for Tommy. No, that's fine. But I think you could just watch it and just be like, what the fuck is going on?
I'd watch the fuck out of you guys play.
Right. Oh, hell yeah.
But yeah, no. I mean, shit, dude, I got aggravated when I accidentally killed Joe Valentine in Resident Evil 5.
That is true. That was that's a classic RudeBoyz Game Club moment right there.
It absolutely is.
Yes. Other thing we've been playing was we both platinumed, not both, but together we platinumed both Until Dawn and The Inpatient. That's the game put out by Supermassive Games for the PS4. It was like the choose your own adventure, butterfly effect sort of stuff. One game was traditional with the controls. The other one was with the VR. We platinumed it. We moved on. And then we're just kind of picking up co-op games every so often. Like Bonnie played through Gone Home. She played through Donut County. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out the next thing to play.
Well, you have an extensive collection. So.
Yeah, you're right. Not as extensive as you would think. I realize a lot of this co-op stuff is not really co-op, not really the co-op she's interested in. Hence why games like Overcooked is doing a good job. And what the fuck else we play? Oh, we played the demo for this game called Moving Out, which I think is done by the same guys who did Overcooked. But instead of chefs, you're like a moving company, so you're just moving stuff out of the house, and it's chaotic. It's funny. It's silly.
It sounds ridiculous.
Yes, it is ridiculous.
So it's a moving out simulator.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. As chaotic as moving out is in real life, it's pretty much the same thing. It's 10 times as worse.
That sounds pretty dumb.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like
not to judge what you're playing, but it sounds kind of dumb.
no, I understand. Yeah, I would say, Tom, check it out. Check it out between you and your brother, and hell, maybe even your sister-in-law.
No, we've been playing like every so often. If it's the three of us, we play Monopoly.
Okay. Another good kind of
that's
co-op-y game. Yeah, sure. Or counter-op.
Oh yeah, no, it's totally counter-op.
Yeah.
Yeah. They get angry with me
Sure.
when we play. So.
As I would with Bonnie, because she's a hawk. She destroys in Monopoly.
Uh-huh.
Well, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I've gotten cut by that sword.
Game-wise, that's pretty much all I've been up to, but, like, I did watch the 2-hour, or maybe even the 2-episode premiere of the second season of Dark Side of the Ring, which completely focused on Chris Benoit. And
right,
Tom,
I've heard.
I believe both these episodes are up on YouTube. And I'll say it off right now. They're both completely well done. I've praised what Dark Side of the Ring has done since the first season, where it treats the subject matter with complete respect and complete parody, and gets, I think, maybe the most needed people to talk about these things. Like, they don't just get anybody to talk about. In this particular circumstance, they got people like Chris Jericho, Chavo Guerrero Jr., Dean Malenko to talk. They also were able to get Chris Benoit's first son, David Benoit, and they got Nancy's sister to talk.
Okay.
And it's really, I mean, I want the word that comes to mind when I want to describe this is it's sad. And I don't want to like necessarily glorify what happened or anything like that, but it's sad because you see the people who are interviewed, they lost their friends or father or sister or brother-in-law. You know what I mean? Like, they lost these people, and that's really what it comes down to. And when you find out more details about, because it does focus on Chris a lot, when you get those details, I don't want to say you feel for him, because what he did was completely awful, but this what was going on in his head, and the pressure and the business and who he was as a person, and when he snapped, I don't want to say you feel bad, because again, he murdered his wife and son, but it's a tragedy, because he fell to whatever demons there were, with the brain damage and losing Eddie Guerrero, his best friend, and the grief that he was stricken with, and the pressure of being, a main eventer in the WWE, and also how awful the WWE is. Like, you get a lot of this stuff. It's really just like almost like a powder keg of just emotion. I think it's just a very emotional roller coaster that you go on to, and as wrestling fans like you or I, we've seen it from one perspective. And maybe, like, if we're a little more investigative or anything like that, we see it from maybe a different side or a different point of view. But seeing the interviews that are being told by, again, Chris Benoit's son, David Benoit, who's basically like, my father was my best friend, my father was my hero, and all this stuff happened. And then Nancy's sister, who was like, my sister was my life. There were domestic issues, but having them kind of come out and say what they need to say, and then also getting the support from people like Chris Jericho, like Chavo Guerrero, I think is just it makes it a needed viewing for any wrestling fan.
I I just looked. It's actually up on Verizon.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure you can find it on demand or something like that. It's on Viceland. It comes out on Tuesdays. But yeah, I think it's definitely a must watch. It's handled wonderfully. Yeah, and I think ratings wise, it did the best ratings over any of its previous season one shows.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, the second you drop, the second you drop,
Benoit.
Chris Benoit's name.
Right.
People are gonna watch.
You're absolutely right. It's a very hot topic issue even at this day, but they definitely went with their best foot forward. And I mean, their second episode is going to be about New Jack, so I don't think they're going to retain their ratings that they did. But I mean, from a wrestling standpoint, that's a very interesting man. I know your thoughts on New Jack, Tom, but like, Jesus Christ, I can only imagine the story you're going to hear out of him.
Yeah, great. Fucking. Whatever. I will not watch that episode.
See, but there you go. Like, I feel like they retained, and they're gonna have some hot episodes. Like we talked about it last time on Blitzkrieg News. Like they're gonna talk about Owen. They're gonna talk about the Road Warriors. They're gonna talk about, like we said, New Jack. It's gonna be. I think again, this series is fantastic. I'm glad Pro Wrestling is getting like a bit of a third party documentary style focus on it. And
right, and
this is good.
And it's not just the tug session that is WWE.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
So I mean, that's always that's good to see. That
right.
There's
yes.
no, like you said, it's good that there's a third party.
Yes.
That can give us this stuff.
Right. So that's all I've been up to personally, Tom. But you and I, we've both been more or less caught up with the season 7 of Clone Wars and season 3 of Castlevania.
Yes.
What do you want to talk about first?
Well, I'm one episode behind you on Clone Wars.
Okay.
I forgot to watch it on Friday.
All right. So you want to just bang that? You want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah.
All right. So. Season 7 of Clone Wars, been released weekly on Netflix. Wow. Been released weekly on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
Thank you, Disney Plus. And I think it's like every Friday or something like that. And what season 7 is, it's going to be the final season, and I put air quotes on that because money talks.
Yep.
And so the first 4 episodes, we're focusing on the clone group. I think it was like Clone Group 99 or something like that.
The Bad Batch.
The Bad Batch, yes. So similar to all the Clone Wars seasons prior to this, they're all in arcs. So the first 4 episodes are an arc, next 4 episodes are an arc, and the last 4 episodes are an arc. Bad Batch, I dug the hell out of these episodes. I love clone shit.
Oh yeah. So, give me more clone shit, like any day.
Hell yeah.
Don't give me any of the political shit.
Yeah, please no more political stuff. Please.
No, we're getting some political stuff.
We probably will. But the Bad Batch, they're these 4 groups of 4 clones with they call them desirable mutations. So like, one's a really good hunter, one's like a heavy tank guy, one's a good sniper, and one's like a really smart, almost like a Donatello like of Ninja Turtles fame, like just really smart technical guy.
Yeah.
And they have to go break out ARC Trooper Echo, who hasn't been seen since season 3, because he was captured by the Trade Federation and basically used to, I guess, produce counter plans to the Republic. So,
and then, yeah, I mean, that was pretty cool. And I like the fact that he stayed with the Bad Batch.
Yeah, because he was at the end of everything. He was kind of more machine than man sort of thing. He had like one of those like jacks that that like R2 has for control panels on his arm, and he was more mechanical than any other clone. So he decided that he was not necessarily a reject or anything like that, but he was kind of like well, my place is with these guys now because I'll never fit back in.
Right.
And I'm really curious, watching the Bad Batch operate, and also playing Republic Commando on the OG Xbox. Like, that's what I kind of wanted that game to be. Like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
like in the intro of that game, you're introduced to your squad, and your squad is like, okay, this guy's the demolitions expert, this guy's the sniper, this guy is this guy is that. But like, you never see it because they're all interchangeable. So having the Bad Batch and having like, okay, this guy is the sniper. Like, get in there and
Right.
fucking snipe. This guy's the heavy lifter. Get him and fucking blowing shit up. Like, I
Yeah,
dug
see,
that.
and the thing that I'm wondering about the Bad Batch is, remember the one story arc that they did in, I want to say season 6,
Okay.
where they found out that all the clones have, like, you know, that implant that will trigger Order 66.
Right.
I'm wondering if the Bad Batch has those.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure, knowing how like the process goes, they probably wasn't like omitted from them, but they seem to kind of operate on their own. So I don't know if like necessarily Order 66 affected them. I mean, I'm sure it does. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think they were with any Jedi. Is what I'm saying.
Right.
Right. That'd be definitely something to
Yeah,
check
but
out.
they did work well with, like, Anakin and whatnot.
Oh hell
which
yeah! I mean, they
liked.
did. Yeah.
Because, like, you know, they could have they could have gone a different route with it with them, like, where it was like, oh, all right, well, we don't trust Jedi's,
Right.
but, like, you know, but I think they looked at Anakin as one of their own.
Oh yeah, because he out of all like the times we've seen him interact with the clones, like he was the one to actually get in there and fight, shoulder to shoulder with them. Which I know in season 4 when they did that whole that fight on that Umbra planet with the four-armed dude.
Yeah.
Like that's what made it so like, well, General Skywalker would do this. And,
Right. Oh, yeah.
yeah. So
But and then what? And then episode. What are they? They're up to what? Episode 6.
They just did episode man, math is hard. 6, yes.
Okay, so then episode 5, which is what I left off with, was revolving around Osaka Tano,
Right.
where she is hiding that she was a Jedi, but then she kind of had to reveal that she was a Jedi.
Yeah, a little bit. I'll tell you this. Like season 6 doesn't necessarily. I mean, I'm sorry. Episode 6 doesn't really go too far from that. Obviously, the rest of the like her arc kind of gets a little more developed, but it's still a matter of her working with these two sisters from like the underworld of Coruscant, and her trying to, you're right, hide that she's a Jedi, hide what she knows, hide the kind of person she was, and basically just try to kind of find her way. I guess in the galaxy. Season 6 does. I'm sorry, I did it again. Episode 6 kind of does the same thing.
Okay.
But obviously there's a little more development, a little more story progression. But it is. It's cool. It's almost like an epilogue, I'd imagine, for Ahsoka Tano. We'll see what happens. She does show up in Rebels, and obviously she's gonna presumably show up in The Mandalorian. So we know she gets through all of that.
Yeah. Yep. Which I'm alright with.
Yeah.
That's give me more of that character. I really do like her.
I agree. No, she's definitely grown on me. I know in our Clone Wars episode of which was 66, like
you were very cold on her.
Well, I was in the beginning because she seemed just so like what is this? Get out of here. But she developed, and then she became more of a someone that the audience could gravitate towards, because like she wasn't an established character, and she wasn't like a clone or anything like that, or a villain. You were able to be like, okay, this is what she's all about, and like, man, this shit's crazy, and then the Jedi Council fucking hates me, and then she left. Or she didn't leave, she got kicked out.
The Jedi Council kind of did her dirty.
No, you're right. They thought they were doing the right thing, and then they were wrong,
yeah,
which happens.
I mean, but that's the thing. Like I said on our Clone War episode, is that kind of realized that the Jedi Council are kind of dirtbags.
Yeah.
They kind of know better than the Sith.
Well,
I
don't know about that.
Yeah.
That's a bold claim.
We're going to agree to disagree on that.
All right, that's fine. Should we move on, Tommy?
Sure, let's move along.
All right, so moving along to Castlevania Season 3.
Uh-huh.
All of it dropped on Netflix. I believe, like 2 Fridays ago or something like that. It's still relatively fresh, so spoiler alert. And this is the one episode. This is the one season where it kind of like deviates away from the Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. Was it Dracula's Curse? Simon's Quest. Dracula's Curse. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Because it's more original content sort of stuff. So the first 2 seasons were basically Trevor Belmont, Cypher Belnades, and Alucard coming together to fight Dracula. And so this one actually has a bunch of different storylines in place. You have Trevor and Cypher kind of like in a village trying to figure their shit out. You've got the Vampire Sisters, which have Camilla from the first 2 seasons, but definitely like the second season. Her sisters with Hector was or Isaac.
Yes.
Hector.
Yeah, Hector.
Hector, which was the Devil Forge Master, famous from Castlevania Curse of Darkness, also season 2 of the Netflix show. You also have Isaac, the other Devil Forge Master.
Who's on his, it's like almost like a holy mission.
Exactly, yeah. He's basically, I think, trying to get back to Hector because he feels like Hector betrayed him and Dracula.
Right, because he sided with Camilla and all that, right? Right,
yes. And then the fourth side story, which is Alucard, basically guarding Castlevania, and also having to teach...
Dracula.
Castle Dracula, it was also named as Castlevania. Don't step to this.
More called Castle
it's
Dracula,
called Castlevania,
well, I digress.
All right. No, you digress or not. You're wrong. He has to teach... hey, Tom, we'll agree to disagree.
You're lucky I'm not there because I smack your ass.
Smack my ass?
Smack my ass. Shut the fuck up and you move along.
So he has to teach these 2 young... I think they come from Japan... vampire hunters... just the ways of magic and whatever to try to defend their tribe or village or whatever like that. So all of these storylines are kind of doing their own thing. They're all percolating here and there. I think obviously the main one is Trevor and Cypher because there's the more action-heavy stuff. Yeah,
their story was probably my favorite.
I agree. Yeah. I think that's the most traditional of what we're used to in this anime, whatever you want to call it, show.
Yeah, no, definitely, like you said, more traditional.
Yes. So they have to go basically investigate a church that has basically been run by a night monster. Night creature, they call him? Night creature.
Yeah.
Night creature who is trying to basically resurrect Dracula. You also have this character, Saint Germain, who I believe was also in Curse of Darkness. He's voiced by Bill Nighy. And he is kind of like a time traveler. He's not a man of this time, I guess we'd say. Like, he doesn't do any time traveling, but like he's not from around here, is basically like what we can say.
Huh. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I didn't like that character.
No? Okay. Yeah, it seemed like a little unnecessary, but I feel like it kind of gave Trevor and Cypher's storyline a little more meat behind it, because instead of just being like, oh, let's beat up the monsters, like, you know, they had another character, another wrinkle in.
Yeah. And then you had we'll move on to another storyline. You had Hector and the sisters. Right.
Which I feel like that was a, I don't want to say slow, but like there wasn't as much action. It was a lot of prep. It was a lot of planning for, presumably, what's going to come out of season 4.
Right, because they wanted... Well, Camilla wanted to kill Hector.
Right.
And then I guess the youngest, Lenore, decided to use him because, he's a Forge Master.
Right.
So they'll, that is, she seduces him and ends up, pretty much owning him like a little bitch.
Right. Yes.
So it left off with him pretty much having to be like, hey, guess what? You're going to forge us monsters.
Pretty much, yeah. So he's pretty much at the beck and call of the sisters. He's under their control, and the monsters are under his control. So there you go. So they're going to get an army of monsters.
Yeah. And then, like I said, Isaac, he was more or less on a holy mission, just going around just making, like, monsters left and right.
Sure, yeah.
Like he had, I did like the relationship with the captain of the ship he had.
Yeah, he was a good character, the pirate captain,
yeah,
or whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I liked all the discussions that they were having.
I feel like a character with Isaac, you needed a character like that. You couldn't just have like a dummy.
Yeah.
You needed someone to be like smart and kind of like that. There's a lot of talking in this show.
Yeah.
And I think the writing is very well done because like you have a conversation between Isaac and the ship captain. Sure, they're all very smart, very worldly, and they're basically playing each other. But then you have like a conversation of like, let's say, the judge and Trevor and Sypha, and Trevor's just like, I don't want to fucking be here. Like, I think stuff like that is well done because like a character of Trevor, he's not like that. He's kind of a dullard.
No.
But let me phrase that. He's not the smartest guy in the group. And
he's just, I kill things with my whip.
Exactly, yeah. So when shit like that happens, I'm like, but he is smart. But he's not there for his smarts. He's there for his skills. Right. So when stuff like that, when they have conversations, I like that because it's like, it's almost grounded. It's almost like, yeah, I would act that way. You know what I mean? Like, that's just like how I would be. It's more grounded.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah. 100%. And then Isaac, it was, I watched it the week it came out, so I'm a little foggy.
Sure.
So his story pretty much ended with him going to a town where someone was controlling the townspeople.
Yeah, that's correct. So this one old dude basically controlled all the townspeople, probably and then some, in his town with magic. And that guy had a magic mirror, like one of those teleportation mirrors that we've seen in the previous 2 seasons. So Isaac wanted to get his hands on that. He went to go raid the town. And there's this one cool scene that's actually a callback to a more classic Castlevania villain of Legion. Legion is basically just this big ball of human bodies. So as Isaac is making his way through the town, the guy who's mind controlling everyone just kind of takes everyone, makes them into a giant ball, and just kind of throws masses of people at Isaac and his monsters. So really cool visual. Isaac basically ends up...
And like the monsters that Isaac was making, those they look really freaking cool.
Yeah. They were also so very unique too. It wasn't just like it wasn't all just just some guys. Like it was all like this guy's got 6 arms and this guy's just got wings and this one's a giant man. Like it's really cool. They're very creative when they come up with their monsters. Their original monsters, because obviously they pull some of them from the games.
Sure.
But he ends up
pull from the source.
Exactly. Yeah. But he ends up killing that guy and basically getting control of the mirror, and that's pretty much where his story is left off. Yep.
And then you had Alucard's story, where it was like, oh man, definitely the weakest.
I would say so too.
Alucard's story, I was just like, there was no, he was being all broody in, Castlevania. And it was just like, and then those twins showed up. I mean, the one thing I did enjoy was in episode 1 where he has like the rag dolls.
Yes.
Trevor and Cypher.
Yeah.
I was fucking dying.
That was funny.
Where he's like, I'm Trevor, I'm a big dumb fucking moron.
Yeah. I'm gonna go fuck a pig. Yeah.
You know, and definitely weak. I didn't like those twins at all. I mean, you aren't supposed to, but like even like them, I was like, so unnecessary that they're here.
Yeah, I agree. Again, like it seems like this whole season was kind of just like a setup for the bigger picture, the next big thing, and this was the season that they, brought in more original content or more original characters than from the source material. I think it worked. We'll have to see what happens with season 4. I would have honestly preferred, since the way season 2 ended, if they were to just, I don't know, pick up, now it's Simon's story or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, now that we have the basis for what Castlevania is all about, like, the games are huge on that. The games are huge on, like, every 100 years or every whatever years, another Belmont comes to fight the resurrected Dracula. Like, I would have been behind that. But, with the character depth that Castlevania 3 offered, it would make sense to kind of focus on that. And, the characters are great. So, it's one of those, like, I would have liked it like this, but I'm still cool with what we got.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really feel like, out of all the characters, I kind of feel Cypher has developed the most.
I agree. Yeah, she's definitely shined.
Oh, she was the star of this season.
I agree. I think her magic is cool. How she developed into like a hero was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I just love how I just love how the whole time she was like messing with Trevor.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, this is my manservant. He's kind of simple.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like fucking ridiculous.
Exactly.
And he just goes with it.
Oh yeah, because he knows he can't listen. As a boyfriend, you don't pick a fight you're gonna lose. So.
Yeah. That's to be determined.
No, it's not. It's not to be determined.
I pick fights. I pick fights because you know what? Fighting is fun sometimes.
You're right.
It keeps things interesting.
I guess so.
Yeah. But yeah, so Castlevania Season 3, awesome.
Yes.
Hopefully 4 drops, with all this. Maybe they filmed enough that they could just drop Season 4. Maybe, for all we know, maybe they did Season 3 and 4 together.
Hopefully, that'd be pretty cool. Especially how they announced it. They just were like, yeah, Season 4's coming, guys. So.
Wait for it.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Sit tight and wait. Yeah, well, we don't have much of a fucking choice.
Yeah, seriously. But I think that's the big RudeBoyz Ultimate Catch-Up, right, that we've been doing?
I think so. That was probably our biggest catch-up.
I think you're right,
Catch up. God damn it. Got me saying ketchup now. Because I'm the dumb. And, yeah.
All right, that's it for RudeBoyz Catch-Up. And on that note, Nation, thanks for basically bearing with us this whole episode. We apologize for the circumstance. We apologize for what the sound quality is going to be. We apologize for the world, but, I mean, what are you going to do? We're still
I don't apologize for the world. We didn't do shit.
I know we didn't do shit, but, again, I'm sure you go back in our archives. I'm sure you told someone to eat a bat. So, Nation, produce that audio for us so Tom can issue an apology.
It's, you know what? It's like Ozzy Osbourne said. What, back in his day, he could eat a raw bat and didn't end the world.
Yeah, so, I guess, yeah, that classic Ozzy Osbourne quote.
Hey, look. What can you do? Shut up. Just fucking move along.
Nation, if you like what you heard, and I mean, I really can't blame you if you didn't,
I definitely don't blame you.
We are located on the Podbean network, which is going to be rudeboyz.podbean.com.
Flick the bean.
All right, so there you go, Tom. That's how well you know we haven't prepared this episode is because Tom didn't even.
Yeah. It's just it's fucking weird.
I think out of
we'll get better by the next one because I'm sure we're gonna have to do the next one like this.
I know, yeah. But we actually have a new link out there, out in the open, out on the internet. We basically signed up for a link tree, and so that's going to be available at linktr.ee/RudeBoyz. And on that link, on that page, you can find anything and everywhere that we're at. So that has a link to our Podbean, like we said, our stuff on Apple Podcast, on YouTube, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything like that. Go check it out. I know the link is right now live on our Twitter page, our Twitter bio. I'm going to send that link over to you, Tommy. You can hook it up in our Instagram account.
Word.
Just update the link. I'll update it on the Facebook. And it's our one-stop shop for all things Rude Boys. So check it out.
You really did that so you don't have to go through all the YouTube.
I kind of did, but then it also gives it gives the nation their options. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you want to hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, personally, I'm at Tesherms, TEH_SHERMS. And that is for Twitter and Instagram. This is Tom now trying to scramble for his social media accounts.
No! What the fuck do you mean?
No. It's a me, Mario.
Nation, if you want... Oh, fuck. Okay, cool. That worked. Woohoo! Nation, if you want to get me on Instagram, I am at Tommy_Cash. That's Cash with a K. 880. And if you want to get me on Twitter, that is Tommy_Cash, and that's Cash with a K.
There you go. All right. He had it all down. So that's it for this episode, Nation. Get ready for some WrestleMania stuff coming out. Maybe we're gonna try.
Yeah,
and then hopefully this will sound a lot better next time. And
make no promises.
Yeah, no promises made. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, Freddie.
And that's it. We're sorry, and we'll see you next time.
We didn't break the world.
This has been a presentation of the Rude Boyz Podcast Network.
Oops.